Welcome to the third and final part of the series where I review every single Marble Run set I have. Actually, here's an update. I've actually decided that this will be not the last episode of this series. I've decided to split this video into two parts, part 3 and part 4. In this third part, we're going to be covering Hubelino and Q-Ba-Maze, and in the fourth part, we'll cover the 3 surprise sets. The reason why I'm splitting this video in half is because it's already been like 3 weeks since part 2 came out, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting with no content for too long, so instead of just rushing the video, I would figure I would just upload the first half now and finish the second half later. And no, I'm still not going to reveal what the 3 surprise sets are, you're just going to have to wait and see. So, without further ado, let's get back to the video. In the last episode, we looked at the Galt Pinball Racer, Marbulus, and Marbleworks. And in this episode, we're going to be doing Hubelino, Q-Ba-Maze, and a few never-before-seen surprise sets, which have not appeared on my channel yet for various reasons. So let's go ahead and cut right to the chase and get down to our first set, Hubelino.
What is your favorite block in Minecraft?
I remember when I was younger, I always wanted to have a Marble Run set that's compatible with Legos. And even though I'm not much of a Lego builder myself, it's still something that I think is an amazing concept. And well, this is about as close as I'm ever going to get to it. This right here is a Duplo compatible Marble Run. Duplo is basically a larger version of Lego. And I remember at my grandparents' house a long time ago, they used to have an old Duplo set, but sadly we no longer have that. But if I still had it, then I would be able to use that with these Hubelino pieces because, well, they are 100% compatible with Duplo. So really the only new things here are the tracks. Let's just start with the positives, and oh boy, there's quite a lot of them. First of all, this track doesn't have too many unique elements, but what it does have is really amazing. So first of all, let's talk about these funnels. Now, if you get Hubelino funnels now, they're not actually going to look quite like this. They have a newer design now, which isn't as good as this older one, but since this is what I have, let's just talk about this. This right here is by far one of the most unpredictable funnels I've ever seen in my life. Like, you really never know what the heck is going to happen in these. Of course, the funnels are really compact, so all the marbles are really bunched up together, and that can make for some really intense races. And I guess I can demonstrate that here. Well, then again, these are the same marbles, so it's hard to tell, but still. You get what I mean. These are pretty good funnels. Now, another cool element I want to talk about is the half pipe, or whatever you want to call this. Basically, this is another section where marbles can pass each other, and it also doubles as a split track because, as you can see in the center, when they get to this point, they might go left or they might go right. So, yeah, that's also pretty cool, and as you can see here, they'll be going back and forth quite a bit, but sometimes they'll occasionally get stuck, but sometimes that can be fixed by just having another marble bump into them. Wow, this is not really proving my point, but still. And I also really like how you have these tunnel pieces here. Like, that's really interesting, where you can put bricks on top. You can also have a little tunnel here. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So those are like the positives about the track. I guess the first con I should mention about that is that other than these 2 special elements, the rest of the track pieces are not really good for racing. Like, basically the rest of the track pieces, they can't actually have marbles pass each other anywhere. Now, of course, that's probably a bit of an unfair criticism since not everyone who gets these marble runs is looking to make a marble race. But still, though, if you are looking to make a marble race and you don't have the half pipes or the funnels, then all you get is basically just tracks, and that's not exactly good for racing unless you did one of those dual tracks, which you can make those, but still. I kind of wish that they made like a Hubelino racing set with like elements where marbles can pass each other, but Unfortunately, that never happened. But what you see here is not all there is to Hubelino. There's actually a bunch of expansion packs for Hubelino, and a lot of them are really cool. And this is what my next pro about the set is. And of course, the only expansions I have are the funnels and the half pipes, but there's a bunch of other stuff, which although none of these things allow marbles to pass each other, they're still pretty dang cool. You got this slope that slows the marble down halfway through it and starts making the marble spin really fast. And then there's also this catapult thing where all you have to do is press this button and the marble will defy all of Newton's laws of physics. And also, let's not forget about the gravity hammer, which is basically a ripoff of Gravitrax, but it's still pretty dang cool. So yeah, those are a lot of really cool extensions that you can get for Hubelino. Of course, the half pipe and the funnels are what I have, and it's probably what I'll stick to for now, unless they come out with something new. But either way, that's a positive right there, that they have all these creative expansions. However, we haven't even gotten to the biggest con about this set yet. This is by far one of the most expensive Marble Run sets I have. You think Quadrilla is expensive? Wait till you find out how much this moderately big Hubelino set costs. $200. And how many pieces does it have? 200. That's literally $1 a piece, which I get that this is really high quality or whatever, but I still think that's a bit kind of ridiculous of a price, even for a set this good. And by the way, this is what it's like with what the set looks like with glass marbles, which again are bigger than the standard size marbles you're used to. And yeah, at this point I might as well call the marbles getting stuck on the half pipe a con, because it's happened like 3 times now. I guess I don't normally see it because I usually just use the smaller regular sized marbles on this track, which do not get stuck there. And also, it's easily expandable with expansion packs and stuff. Like, you can get extra base plates, which I really like that. And, as I mentioned before, there's a bunch of accessory sets I don't have. Speaking of the accessory sets, that brings me to my next con, which is that these funnels, which are very unpredictable, have now been replaced with this new version you're seeing now, where the funnels are a lot more slanted near the center. This kind of ruins the potential of them being super unpredictable. Now, the current design kind of reminds me of the Marbleworks funnels, which were underwhelming at best. Other than that, there's not much negatives I can say about this set. I think that, aside from the fact that I don't like how the funnels are now, and of course I don't like how expensive the set is, I would give this overall a solid 8.5 out of 10. Actually, you know what? 9 out of 10, because I really don't have that many problems with this set. It's really a good one, actually. So, like, if you can afford it, then I would say absolutely go for it. Absolutely get this set. And I know that, of course, Hubelino discontinued the funnels that are designed like this and replaced them with those less unpredictable ones that go a bit faster. There's like hundreds of Hubelino ripoffs on Amazon and eBay, which are all compatible with the official Hubelino stuff, except some of them are in the size of Lego instead of Duplo, which means they would not be compatible with official Hubelino. But a lot of those Hubelino ripoffs still have the OG funnel design. So, yeah, if you do want these, then it's still possible to get them. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10, and yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Hubelino. Now it's time to head on over to the next Marble Run set I have, which is Q-Ba-Maze.
One more time, music's got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate and dance so free. One more time.
Alright, we have made it to the last set I have, or at least the last set that has appeared on the channel so far. There's a few surprise sets that I'm gonna be covering after this one that have not appeared on my channel for various reasons. But anyways, we're not at that point yet. So, this is Q-Ba-Maze, and as you can probably tell just by looking at it, this is absolutely not your traditional Marble Run. instead of having, you know, track pieces, it has these cubes which act as tracks. And the way you assemble the set is a lot different too. Like, you attach cubes from the sides or on the top, so that's pretty interesting. But anyways, it's time to talk about like the pros and cons of this set itself. Now, first of all, I want to mention that this is the Grand Prix racing set, so unlike most Q-Ba-Maze sets, this one's designed for racing. But I feel like no matter what set you get, it's gonna be super unpredictable and super good for racing. For example, in this set, marbles can pass each other anywhere and everywhere pretty much. So that includes even these little cubes here. They still have enough space in them for marbles to pass each other there, which is definitely not what I expected to happen, so it blew me away how crazy good this is for racing. And there's a lot of other cool things that make for intense races, like for example the cascading stilts, where marbles can indeed pass each other, as that almost happened there. And also there's a double entrance funnel, which is pretty unpredictable actually, because it's not very slanted. And like, I also really like the finishing base that comes with the racing set, because, you know, you can line up a bunch of marbles to see the exact order they came in, and it's really easy to see the order they came in, so that's a big plus too. And also, when you want to grab them out, you can just lift this gate open, and then just grab them out of the container here, so that's pretty neat. And also, one of the coolest things about this set I haven't mentioned yet is the starting position, which makes the Galt Pinball Racer starting piece look inferior, super inferior in comparison, because this can literally launch up to 12 marbles at the same time, which I have never seen any other set do that many at once, so that's crazy. And also, alongside the fact that it's really good for racing, the pieces themselves are really interesting. Like, for example, the tubes here, which there's 2 of them included in this set, and this came out long before Marble Genius released the pipes and spheres, which are basically the same idea. And then you also have this cool vertical paddle wheel, apparently they call it a speed sprocket, and the cascading stilts, which I mentioned earlier. It's nice to shake things up so that it's not just entirely just the cubes, which is how the original Q-Ba-Maze sets were. But yeah, overall, that's a lot of positives about this set. However, unfortunately, I still see this set as kind of a mixed bag. You might be wondering, how on earth does a set that is so good for racing and has so many interesting pieces, how can that be a mixed bag? Well, there's a few pretty bad flaws with this set. Well, the first con I have to say about this set is that, just like with Imaginarium, Corsetti, Magoga, and some of the MarbleWorks pieces, this set does not work with standard sized marbles. It just doesn't. Now, you might think, oh, but Christian, you have like plenty of these marbles that are the size of Imaginarium and Corsetti and MarbleWorks, and those marbles are small enough to fit on those sets. Well, guess what? This small marble problem is even worse with Q-Ba-Maze, because Q-Ba-Maze uses marbles that are even smaller than the Imaginarium and Corsetti marbles. In fact, here's a comparison right here. This is a standard sized marble. It's 16 millimeters, and it's the easiest marble size to get, and it's the size that I wish all sets used, but of course they don't. And then this slightly smaller one is basically the size of the marbles that come with Imaginarium and Corsetti Magoga, but then this tiny marble right here is the Q-Ba-Maze sized marble. Good luck finding any of these aside from the ones that come with the set. I mean, as you can see, if we look inside this bag here, it's kind of hard to open. Let me just awkwardly position the camera here. Okay, there it is. You will see that these marbles right here are the only Q-Ba-Maze compatible marbles I have, at least that look different. Sure, this might be a bit of a variety, but it's nothing compared to the hundreds of unique standard-sized marbles I have. So basically, if you have slightly smaller marbles and you are already familiar with Imaginarium, and you're thinking, oh, I should get Q-Ba-Maze because I have the slightly smaller marbles that should work for it, guess what? They're still not going to work for it because these slightly smaller marbles are still too big for the set. Just look. That marble doesn't fit. They can't even go through any of these cubes. Like, you get the point. It doesn't work at all. I mean, of course, they can still drop down that hole, but they can't go through these little crevices here. Like, come on, Mindware. That's right, this set was actually made by Mindware, who made a bunch of Marbulous compatible sets, but like, come on, Mindware, all you had to do was just make the pieces just a little bit bigger, just so that they would fit the marble sizes for Imaginarium and Corsetti Magoga. But instead, we just have these impossible to get tiny marbles. This is why you don't see me use this set much on this channel, because I only have a very, very limited selection of tiny sized marbles that fit with this track. And of course, like, if the pieces were slightly bigger, so they would at least fit with, you know, the medium sized marbles, I would call them, then yeah, I would definitely be a lot happier with this set. And the second criticism I have for the set is that I know that this can technically happen with every single Marble Run set, but I found that much more often than any other set, marbles very frequently fly right out of this track, especially if you're using more marbles. Like, here I have all 12 loaded, and as I will demonstrate, I guarantee you there's going to be a couple marbles that fall right off. And it's all because of the way the course is designed. Marbles can easily bounce up and go over this wall. And that's why I added these extra cubes here using the last remaining pieces of the set. But yeah, anyways, let's just see this. There goes one, and another. It does seem like all the other marbles are gonna make it, but yeah, there were at least 2 marbles that just fell out. But of course, the set is still pretty dang cool. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, 2 fell. Looks like the orange marble over here fell. And then I guess I'm gonna have to cut to when I find the 12th marble. Wow, it turns out that the other marble that fell off was just right over here in this corner. I'm surprised I didn't see this, but yeah. As you can see, marbles do frequently fly out of it. Even though that was only like a 30-second long run, 2 marbles already fell out, and I believe this purple one fell out literally within a few seconds of the race starting, so that's pretty disappointing. But yeah, even then, I still like this set. It's still pretty fantastic, but there's things that really do bother me about it. And also, I feel like marbles would not be falling out of the track anywhere near as often if they were just bigger. Like, what if they were just the size of, you know, Imaginarium and Corsetti marbles are? Like, all you would have to do is make these pieces a little bit bigger. But of course, Mindware, you ain't gonna do that, even though you guys made a bunch of Marbulous compatible sets which use standard size marbles. Oh well. At least, of course, I do also find it cool how you get 12 uniquely colored marbles, at least, but man, I wish they weren't just solid colored. I wish there were other designs, but oh well, I'm kind of happy with what I got. So anyways, that's pretty much about everything I wanted to mention about Q-Ba-Maze. I may not have talked about it as long, but that's also because this is the only set I have. I'm not very good at setting it up. It's way different than the other sets, so I would still consider myself to be a beginner with Q-Ba-Maze, even though, of course, I've had like 10 years of experience with other sets. But yeah, that is about it for Q-Ba-Maze. Overall, I would give this, you know what, an 8 out of 10. It would definitely be a 9 or even a 10 out of 10 if, you know, the issues of the marbles constantly falling out of the course, and also if the marbles weren't as tiny, then yeah, I would probably get like a 9 or a 10 out of 10, because alongside all the cool stuff you see here, in other sets there's even more interesting stuff, like this spiral sphere piece, which is like this spiral circular structure with a funnel at the bottom. And then there's like a trampoline, which again, I believe this was way before the Marble Genius trampolines became a thing. But yeah, like, Q-Ba-Maze definitely influenced a lot of other sets, and I really like that. So yeah, overall, it's a mixed bag, but it's definitely better than Imaginarium, which is just another mixed bag. So anyways, would I recommend you get this set? Yes, if you can tolerate the fact that it uses really small marbles and the fact that it's not really compatible with any other set. But so yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's go ahead and move on to the first surprise set, which is a set you've never seen on this channel before. Not yet. You guys are gonna have to wait for part 4 to come out before you find out what the 3 surprise sets are. But you know what, since I've been holding it off for so long, although I'm not going to directly tell you what the surprise sets are, I'm going to give you a few visual hints. So this is a close-up of the first surprise set, this is an image related to the second surprise set, and this is an image related to the third surprise set. Good luck figuring all those out. Maybe I'm being too obvious, considering that one of you has already gotten neck deep into figuring these out. But obviously I'm not going to say if you're correct or not, but yeah. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to the 4th and true final part. So yeah, goodbye for now.